Hello, University of Wyoming alumni and friends, and I want to extend a special well wishes and welcome to our UW Casper alums who number about 3,000. Thank you for joining us today on this virtual town hall. We are really excited to produce this event and share it with our alumni in the area. I want to thank Black Hills Energy for being our sponsor today. You know, the University of Wyoming Alumni Association is all about providing the legacy, spirit, and pride of UW and to share that pride and legacy and spirit worldwide. And today I am really pleased to get to share a great story, and that's the story of UW Casper. And I want to please welcome the Dean of UW Casper, Brent Pickett. Brent, welcome.
Thank you, Keener. It's a pleasure to be here.
You bet. Brent and I go back to about 2013, 2014. It's the first year that the University of Wyoming Alumni Association became a part of the UW Casper commencement ceremonies. And we met there and for one of the first years, and we've continued since to present all of the new graduates with a Buck and Horse and Rider lapel pin, their free year membership, and so on and so forth. So UW Casper has been special in the hearts of our alumni and of the Alumni Association. And the UW Casper has a special 44-year history. And Brent, you know, we actually celebrated the 40th anniversary just a few years ago. And at that time, it really sunk in of the power, the impact, the value of UW Casper to the community, to the state, and to the University of Wyoming as a whole. And so before we get into some specifics about what's taking place this year as you kick off a new year, why don't you just give a quick overview and history of UW Casper and its value and contribution?
Gladly, Keener. So UW Casper started back in 1976. It started pretty small, just 3 degree programs. We had about 60 students. All those degree programs were at the bachelor's level. This fall, in contrast, we have over 300 students, and we have more than a dozen degree programs at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. At the core of UW Casper's mission has always been serving site-bound students in central Wyoming. So our student population is different than Laramie's. Our average student is in her early 30s, and that student's not receiving Hathaway funds. And many of our students are part-time because they have families and jobs. But some of them are still great students and are doing great things for themselves, their families, and our community. The impact that UW Casper has had is profound. You can't walk into an elementary school in all of Natrona County without coming across UW Casper alumni. Many of Natrona County School District's science and technical education teachers are also our alumni. Some of the leaders of the Pathways Innovation Center are our alumni as well. If you work with a social service agency that hires social workers, you'll certainly come across, again, more of our alumni. Casper College has faculty that graduated from us. My dentist is one of our alumni. Our grads go elsewhere. A current alum is at the Yale School of Medicine. Another's a doctor and fellow at the University of Nevada. Another's getting her doctorate at the University of Kansas. I could go on. We are here to serve the people of Central Wyoming, and I'm so proud of the work we do every day.
Well, Brent, one of the things that I have learned over my time in interacting with UW at Casper is you really seem to have tailored your program and some specific unique programs to a student profile and to the employment demands in the region. Can you speak to 2 or 3 of those unique programs that are just a niche for UW at Casper, please?
Gladly. UW Casper now has the Bachelor's of Applied Science in Organizational Leadership program. It's exciting to add a new degree program, especially one that matches our non-traditional student profile so well. It's designed to work for adult learners who are seeking to further their careers and who have an associate's degree. Often those associate degrees are in applied areas. So for example, an associate's degree in fire science or construction management. And oftentimes those degree programs don't transfer as well to a traditional 4-year degree program at UW because a lot of the more applied sort of work in fire science or construction management there's no equivalent right at UW. And so those credits get lost. But in the BAS program, we're more accepting of those earlier credits. And so you don't get off track for a 4-year degree program. So it's designed well to partner with Casper College and types of students that graduated from Casper College. And it does a good job of helping those students then further their career potential by training them in organizational leadership.
Mm-hmm.
We also track placement in a number of our degree programs, and we show really high rates of success. So for example, our 2020 graduating class in medical laboratory sciences, they all found jobs in their area. In fact, every graduate we've had in that medical laboratory sciences program going back to 2017 has gotten a job in the field. Out of our 2020 elementary education graduates, all but one has now gotten a job in his field. The sole exception has an interview this week. Likewise, our council education graduating cohort in 2019 all found jobs in their fields, except for one person who took some time out to be with her new baby.
That's just fantastic, because I remember when the medical laboratories program was starting a few years ago, those are all outcomes that you all projected. And to see them come to fruition says a whole lot about your work. You know, another thing I've come to learn about your all's program too, is that an excellent academic program, there is a foundation of exceptional scholarship support, because many of these, as you related to, are non-traditional, carrying on jobs, raising families, doing multiple things. Share a little bit about your scholarship program and how it is so attractive to bring students to UW Casper and give them a chance to successfully complete their degree and not be burdened with high levels of debt.
Probably our premier scholarship here is the Myra Fox Skelton Scholarship, which is generously funded by the Skelton Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is provides $1,000 a month to single parents who are pursuing a degree. It's designed to let those students really devote their time and attention to the two things that are most important in their lives, their children and their studies.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to have that second job or whatever in order to make ends meet. The Skelton Scholarship does that for them during the academic year. This year we have 6 Skelton Scholarship recipients. 2 of them have 4.0s, 2 have a 3.9 GPA. They range in majors from elementary education to social work, to criminal justice, psychology. One will graduate next May, just days from when her daughter will be graduating from high school.
Mm-hmm.
We have also a non-traditional student scholarship. It's for parents, it's for students who are over the age of 25, and for those who are veterans. And we have several recipients for that scholarship this year, including a veteran. Their GPAs range from 3.7 to 4.0. They're all planning on becoming teachers, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a student leadership scholarship for those who volunteer in local agencies and civic groups, or otherwise are taking a leadership role. At UW Casper, we really believe in giving back to our community, which is why that's an aspect of both our leadership scholarship and our Myra Fox Skelton Scholarship.
You know, Brent, it's interesting. You mentioned a daughter and a mother pair. That's happened more than once when I've been there speaking, and to see a mother or father and their child walk across the stage getting their degree the same day from the University of Wyoming at Casper, which, by the way, is the University of Wyoming degree. This is not some other kind of thing. But that has been really special each of the time. And then I know I've seen you introduce many of those scholarship recipients, and they're extremely appreciative. They have demonstrated they were worthy by completing their degree, and then they just show it by going out then and getting a great job that will help support their family and just build a better life for them. And, you know, the other story that comes out when I've been there with all the commencements and the like is the number of students that refer to the impact of a quality faculty member and how that faculty member treated them as if they were the only student in the classroom. And again, that's multiple times. Brent, can you speak to the quality of the faculty, research backgrounds, and different kinds of things that characterize your faculty?
Peter, you're exactly right. That having a sound faculty is so key, obviously, to what we're doing. We have award-winning faculty. So Dr. Maria Kuznetsova, who teaches psychology for us, received the Holland Family Award for excellence in teaching off campus in distance programs just this spring. Charlie Cruz, who teaches on our medical laboratory sciences program, won a National Excellence in Teaching Award from the Filipino American Association. We have faculty who are co-authoring articles with their students, including undergraduates, and it's pretty rare in higher education across the country to have faculty co-authoring and then having peer-reviewed articles published in conjunction with undergraduates, and yet we have that happening every year. Dr. Dagmara Motrick-Smith published with an undergraduate student, I think just this spring. Dr. Florence Toulay has done that as well. Dr. Scott Seville. Actually, I did with two of my graduate students in a law review earlier this year for a branch campus. We have an amazing level of opportunity for our students.
Well, thank you there, Brent. You know, we've covered a couple of key areas, but we have a few alumni who are going to join us to ask some questions. First, I would like to bring on Mike Howe, who is a Community Affairs Director for Black Hills Energy in the Central Region. And Mike, again, thank you for Black Hills Energy sponsorship. Mike is a 1993 graduate of the University of Wyoming, and Black Hills Energy has been remarkable partners with the University of Wyoming. They have given out scholarships. They have hired our graduates. They have sent representatives from their company to be in our classrooms and interact with our students. And now sponsoring this event and other town hall events. Mike, we sincerely appreciate your all's participation and sponsorship. And you have a question today for Dean Pickett.
Yeah, thank you, Keener, and hello, Dean Pickett. It's an absolute pleasure to continue our affiliation with the University of Wyoming Alumni Association and the sponsorship of these kinds of things, and we look forward to what we do in the future with you too, Keener.
Thank you.
But Dean Pickett, what's the most valuable way that a corporate partner or even some of the small businesses here in Natrona County can help contribute to the success and growth of UW Casper?
Mike, thank you for your question, and obviously thank you for all of your support for UW and UW Casper. So Mike, we're rethinking and we will be reconstituting our UW Casper Advisory Board. So Mike, if I were you, I would be expecting an invitation to serve on that reconstituted board. Beyond that, offering internships to our students can have a powerful effect on their academic growth and their career opportunities. Also, since our students aren't typically receiving Hathaway funds, please consider giving to our scholarships, such as the non-traditional student scholarship.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Brent. And now we have a 2013 graduate from UW Casper, Tina Weber. Tina?
Thank you for having me.
Go ahead. You've got your question ready to go.
Great. Brent, can you speak about what's new and exciting this fall at UW Casper?
Happily. So one thing is that we have a new faculty member in life sciences, Dr. Riley Bernard, and she's just starting as an assistant professor, yet her time as a postdoctoral fellow was amazingly productive. She already has 19 peer-reviewed articles published, which astounds me, right? I'm a more senior faculty member, I have some gray in the hair, and I have like a dozen. So she's amazingly productive. She's garnered already almost $1 million in research grant funds. She has extensive experience in wildlife disease research and working with state and federal agencies, so she's well positioned to help our state. We also got our Embry grant renewed. It's funded by the National Institute for Health. $17 million, actually over $17 million over the next 4 years. Actually, Tina, during her time at UW Casper, worked with the Embry grant. So it's really nice to be able to announce that we got that renewal in response to a question from her. And then also, I do have an idea about how to expand a program at UW Casper. It's a little bit early, it's still in the proposal stage, but hopefully in the next half a year or so, we'll be able to say we're further expanding what we're doing at UW Casper in terms of our degree program offering.
Brent, I would like to add to that if I could real quickly. So what has it been like transitioning back to campus in the middle of COVID? I know a lot of your students are non-traditional, maybe living, and of course living at home and different kinds of things like that, and probably pretty accustomed to virtual learning. But what has been the climate as you started back and getting classes going into this new year?
Keener, you're right that UW Casper students and UW Casper faculty were already more used to an online learning environment. A number of the degree programs here rely upon at least some portion of the overall coursework happening online, such as in psychology would be one good example of that. So in some areas, the transition wasn't as profound, but in some areas where was a lot of interpersonal interactions really key to our program, it has been a tougher transition. So counselor education, social work, elementary education would all be good examples of that type of more difficult transition.
Right.
We have been really mindful trying to connect students to student support pieces that are increasingly available online and really trying to engage with our students. I find myself spending a surprising amount of each day working on individual student issues and trying to make sure that students have the technology they need and such, so they're positioned still for success.
Thank you. And then lastly, we will bring on Alyssa Ruckel, a 1996 graduate from UW Casper. Hello, Alyssa.
Hey, thanks, Keener. It's good to see you, Dean Pickett. So we've seen a shift in our economic, climate here in Wyoming. And so I'm curious about, some of the programs maybe or initiatives that UWC is working on to help, not only our alumni and our students, but our workforce make that shift. So what are the things that you guys are working on and helping our workforce in making that shift?
Alyssa, thank you for your past support of UW Casper engagement with us. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for your question. So there are a number of different things. So for example, previously I mentioned the Embry grant renewal. One aspect of the most recent iteration of this grant is a greater focus on entrepreneurial connections for the biomedical research that Embry supports. So the principal investigator for that grant is a colleague of mine. In fact, I share this wall with him here at UW Casper, Dr. Scott Seville, and he is working with Impact 307, the UW-affiliated business incubator here in town, to explore internships and otherwise try to build up an entrepreneurial medical sector or applied medical aspect to the type of research that Embry has going on. Just yesterday, I had the president of UW here in my office, and he and I were talking about how UW Casper should be positioning itself in the longer term. And we were again talking about the medical sector and trying to better engage with the leaders in Central Wyoming's medical sector. And so I'll be setting up meetings between President Seidel, myself, and hopefully the Impact 307 leader, Eric Schlitt, as well. And we'll be talking about what sort of needs does local medical community here have, and what can UW do to better provide the workers in those areas. Obviously, we've done this some in the past. Medical laboratory sciences would be a really good example, but I think there's other possibilities too, and I very much want us to be exploring those. Another example would be, again, on Impact 307, just generally trying to expand our partnership with the local business incubator and have more students from UW Casper serving as interns there. I mentioned previously that we took over the Bachelor's of Applied Science program. We're re-examining the curriculum of that program, trying to make sure that it best suits the students in the program, but also suits the companies that those students will be finding jobs at. So there's a number of different pieces that are in play, but we really are trying to be thoughtful in terms of positioning ourselves for our local business community, but also serving our students as best.
Thank you, Alyssa, for the great question. Thank you, Brent. As we wrap up today, Brent, I do thank you for taking time. I can't believe you're all scheduled right now with starting back amid the issues related to the pandemic and the like. I know you guys are packed, but I do sincerely appreciate the partnership that we've had for a long time with the Alumni Association and UW Casper. And I sure hope in May 2021, we can be there again, handing out those Bucking Horse and Rider pins to those new graduates. One thing I do want to leave everyone with, we've touched on a couple of different things about opportunities for new graduates to secure employment, and Brent and his team have done a wonderful job. It certainly sounds like matching graduates with employment opportunities in the region. I do want to share, though, we have a new initiative at the Alumni Association and working with our career services called When Cowboys Call, We Answer. And so this program is directed really primarily toward 2020 graduates, but other alumni who may be looking for work and during this time, and they can contact our office, and we are doing our best to match them with opportunities. And so if you're an alum and have an opportunity, either a full-time position, a part-time position, maybe an internship, maybe even a volunteer professional project, we have a questionnaire and survey that is going out. It's going to be on the front page of our website. And if you have any of those opportunities available that possibly there may be UW grads, some of those at Casper, some of those from Laramie, we would love to hook up with you and see if we can make that connection. Really, when it comes down to it, all of these students that are going through our programs at the University of Wyoming, whether in Laramie or Casper or other places that they're taking the virtual academics, they do want to secure great opportunities. And we know cowboys and cowgirls like to hire other cowboys and cowgirls. So again, thank you so much to our sponsor, Black Hills Energy, MyCal. Thank you, Tina and Alyssa, for joining us and making this a special day. And Brent, again, this is outstanding information. We'll have it wrapped up here soon and make it available to all of our alumni. And so thanks everyone for participating, and for the alums and students maybe watching, please just watch over the fall on our website at UWAA, at the UWAA website, and we'll have more of these kind of meaningful and informational town halls. Thanks everyone.